TBL 5_1. Now the question says we have to open it in design view. So you right click and choose design view. Now the first question, change the data type of the name field to a suitable data type. Now, this is the name field and it says long text. A name field cannot be long text. Remember, the long text is more than 255 characters, and then a name cannot be more than 255 characters. So an appropriate data type should be short text. 5.1.2, insert a new field called identity card as follows. The field must appear as the last field in the table. So the last field is this one, and then the name should be identity card. And then the field will store a picture of 5-card image in the datasheet view of the member called Aneli. So now we need to change the data type from short text to OLE object. Remember, OLE object, which stands for Object Link Embedded. Now, this one is used to store images, multimedia, and other things. So the best one should be OLE object. Then the question is it must be able to store a picture for Aneli. So the question did not say the field will store a picture of the 5-card image. So we have to go back to datasheet view. It will prompt you to save. And then we are going to store it for Aneli. So this side, you right click and choose insert object. Whenever you are adding a picture or an object to OLE object, you right click and then you choose insert object. Then you pick create from file and then you browse for that image. So here you browse for that image, which is 5-card, and then okay. So by default, it will show package and other things. It won't show here. It will only display after you have created a form, then you see the actual image. But when you insert an image to a table, you will see it as package and other names. Right. Now we move to the next question. Create an input mask for the member code as follows. 2 compulsory letters, that's the first one, followed by the @ followed by at least 3, but possibly 4. So I'm going to break this one down for you. I'll open Word and then display it before I go and put it in the database. Now, the first one says 3 compulsory letters. So remember yesterday we said a compulsory letter is represented by capital L. So 3 of them, so you put 3L. And it says, followed by @ symbol. So the @ symbol should be inside inverted comma. Don't just type @ because it is a character. Followed by at least 3, but possibly 4 digits. So at least 3, that means the 3 digits are compulsory, but possibly because of this word here, possibly, it means the fourth one will be optional. So whenever you see that type of question, at least 3, but possibly 4, that means the 3 are compulsory, but the fourth one will be the optional. So it will be 3 digits, 3 zeros, and then the optional digit will be 9. So this should be the best input mask for that. So that should be the proper input mask. So we go back to design view. And then the question says we must create it for member code. You must click on the member code and then you see input mask. You type them there. 3L followed by @ symbol in inverted comma, followed by 3 zeros, and then lastly 9, which is the optional digit. Right. Let's move on to the next question, 5.1.4. Add bronze as the value list option to the membership status field and ensure it appears first in the list. So this is membership status. And now they have already created for us the lookup or combo box. So you go to lookup and then you see combo box with the value list already there. Now we need to add the other one, which is called bronze, and it should be the first one. So you must go to the very first one just after the inverted comma or before the inverted comma, and then you type it in inverted comma with bronze. And then you close the inverted comma. Each item you separate with semicolon or colon, depending on your number formatting. So like the way you see here, you see silver, platinum, and gold. But I know some of you are going to have first face problem. So if you know you struggle to type there, you can select just them and then you right click and say copy. You can copy it. Then you come and paste this same silver. And then you now put the inverted comma. Then you separate it. This silver will now be changed to bronze. So like if you struggle to type, then just copy and paste. And then you change the silver to bronze. That's all. So meaning the bronze should be the first one. Right. Then 5.2. Open the QRY5_1. But before I go to the query, let me check if there's no question from anyone. Right. There's no question, so I will proceed. Now, open the query QRY5_1 based on the TBL table in design view. Modify the query to create a list. Now, whenever you're doing query, you must underline the keyword. A list of all males. So meaning we need only males with a platinum. Another criteria here. Status, born after 2019. So meaning there are about 3 criteria. Now, let's check it. I just click on no, but then in examination, just click on yes. You must save every work. So you right click and then choose design view. Now, the query to create a list of all male members with platinum status born after. So here, where do we find the male? It's under the gender, and then the status, and then the date of birth. But then you cannot just put the criteria. You must run it to check. How did they type the gender? You know, otherwise you're going to type male in full. So here, male represented by M and female represented by F. Then platinum, which is in full. And then the date of birth should be after 2019. So you put a criteria for gender to be M. And then a criteria for membership status, which is platinum. Now, you can say star PLA star because platinum contains PLA, the first three letters, just like the way we were dealing with the query, other queries, and also dealing with the count ifs, the criteria. Make use of the wild card, please. Now, if the word is platinum, just pick the first three words, PLA, put an inverted comma before, oh no, not inverted comma, sorry, asterisk. It means it contains. So when you put asterisk before and after, it means this one means contains PLA. So now, among all of them, the one that contains PLA is what? Platinum. So you put that one. And then the date of birth should be after 2019. Now, very important, after means greater than. Now, 2019, the very first date for 2019 is 1st of January 2019. And then the last date of 2019 will be the 31st of December 2019. So here the criteria should be greater than the last date because they say after 31/12/2019. So this should be the right date. So greater than 31st December 2019. Type the date in the basic format. That is the day slash the month slash the year. And now let's try and run it and see. It gives me wrong answers here. So let's check. PLA and the date. Yeah, the problem is the date. Sometimes it will give you problem. If it gives you problem, you must check. Greater than 31st December 2019. Now, the date, if it doesn't give, that means you must put hashtag. Some Office versions like 2019 or 2029, Office 2019, and then Office 365, it will come on its own. So the hashtag should be there. There we go. So here the problem was the hashtag, but other versions, the hashtag will be there automatically. So if it doesn't show, just put the hashtag over there. Right, that's that query. Now, open the query 5.2. Display only the records where volunteers indicated that they know about taking care of the animals. Insert a calculated field called hours work to calculate the hours. Now here, very important, we are going to calculate hours and then we will also put a criteria. So let's look at that. The question says 5.2, that's this one. You right click and choose design view. Now, like I always say, you don't know how it looks like, so you must run to see. Now, the first question says, the volunteers indicated that they know about taking care. So that's the knowledge part. So there, indicated meaning yes. Those that did not indicate meaning no. So indicated is the tick, which is yes. So here under the knowledge, you say yes. Now run again and check. So that is it. Right. After that, we are going to do calculations. Calculations, you go to empty space, you right click and choose build. Now, we are going to calculate the hours between the time out and the time in. Time out and time in. Then I'm going to show you the basic calculation. Sometimes you can see those functions there. Let's see whether you see hours. So there's hour there. So we can use hour function, or we can also do it in the basic mathematical calculation. Now, so we can just say hour, then you double click on time out. Don't forget to close the bracket, minus hour. You double click on time in, and then you close your bracket. So when you subtract the hour of the time out or the time in from the hour of the time out, you are going to get the number of hours. Now let's run and see. We get our answers. Remember, from 10 up until this, we get 13. Right. Now, it says EXPR1 instead of the calculated field name. The question said the calculated field name should be called hours work. So we have to go and change it. And that's the EXPR1. We change it to hours work. Do not delete the column. So here we type hours work. And then we run again to see. So here we have the hours work, and these are the hours. Right. Alternatively, we could have answered this. You right click, build. Now, to calculate the time or the hours, you put open bracket, time out, minus time in, then you close bracket. So time out minus time in. It will give you days. Now, how many hours per day? We have 24 hours. So you say times 24. So when you have the time out minus the time in, don't forget to put them into bracket because of the board math. Then you multiply by 24, and that one will give you the hours. So like this, time out minus time in times 24 is going to give you hours. Then you click OK. So here we got the same answer. So you can use the hours work, or you can use the normal arithmetic calculation. So whichever one that you want to use whenever you are doing the time calculations. Now, so here, instead of EXPR1, we type again the hours work. So each of them will work. Now, in case, let's say they ask you to calculate the minutes, then after this 24, then you're going to say times 60, because there are 60 minutes per hour. So if they are talking about minutes, you're going to have it like that. Good. So basically, that is how we do this kind of calculation. So watch out for some of these questions. They can change it in different formats. Now, 5.4, create a report to look like this. Now, I don't see 4. Here, these people, they did not ask questions regarding 4. Now, there's a report on the screen that you need to create. Now, let's identify some of these things. We have here the date of birth, and we have the name, and then there's membership status. So name, membership status, date of birth, and fee. Then the names will be there, and then there's medals. So you can see that they have arranged them in certain formats. So each medal is there. Right. So now and then there's also a calculation. So you got to identify each of them. So now let's start with the creation. So you go to create. Whenever you are creating a report, we use report wizard, just like creating a form. Use form wizard or report wizard. Now, they say it's based on TBL 5_1. So you select TBL 5_1 and check the fields that are there. We have the name, we have the membership status, date of birth, and then we have the member fee. So these are the um, four of them. And then this medal here, we will check whether there's medals also. We have to also check them as well. Right. So first of all, let's check whether there's medals. There are no medals, so that one is just an image. So the first one is name. You double click on it. The second one is membership status. The third one is DOB. The fourth one is member fee. And then you go to the next one. Now, let's see whether there was any grouping. There was no grouping. There was no grouping. And then the sorting, we have to check also. We have the branding. We have Abigail, Anele, Joshua. So we will check how it was sorted. We have silver, platinum, and then all these. And then you must check the date. So mostly you must check 2020, 2019, 2022, and that. So it doesn't have a specific format like this one. And don't forget the name. You can see that the name has something around it. Even though it is faint, there's a border around the name. Now, here is very important. You can see the headings are not here, so you cannot use tabular. So this one is columnar, and it's not justified. So it's columnar. You must check. This is the label, and these are the fields. And they didn't specify. I think this is not landscape, it's portrait. And the name of the report is RPT 5_3. So you type it here, RPT 5_3. Then you click on modify because you are not done. But you can check also if they are all showing. You can see here, Jacob, Molefe, that, Joshua, and others. So design view, and then you change them now. The question didn't give you a clue whether it is only this. So we will check whether it's only this that needs to be checked. After we are done with the total amount, then we will be able to see. You can see that the total amount is only this one, which is 1,000 plus 900, which is 1,009 plus 2,000, and then also plus 250, meaning something was done. Only this one that they are looking for. Right. Now, let's go back to design view. Don't forget the title is RPT. So let's use the meta image here. The meta image was also placed this side. So we have to insert the meta image. Let's first check if it is not background. So let's check the background image. You have to always check because this one didn't give you the steps. So let's check the background image, which is medals. Right now, so it was not a background image. There was an image inserted. For each, there's an image inserted next to it. So meaning there was a medal and then an image also inserted. So we have to check that one. It is not background image. We have to undo, meaning we need to put also a box or text box from the controls. And then that text box should have medal, and then the medal is also inserted inside it. So let's change this unbound. We have to change this one here, meaning it must contain something which is an image. This one must contain an image. So now this text box needs to change because there should be an image inserted. But before we even go there, because they inserted an image and then the label is, we can put this one here, and this label can be kept in the form header. Right, so let's put a label on top here to check. Which is medals. And then each of them, there should be next to each text. Then we also put the names with a box around it. So we must go to the border, and then we choose maybe 3pt. There's a border around it for the names. So now we have, this is where we need to change this one. Under each of them is not a text box. It's an OLE object. So this one, the data type cannot be just a box. It should be an OLE object. Now, we check whether there's any control source with it. Which let's check the question again. It says, use the medals image. Now we cannot put this one, so let's put medal than image here. Just below it. There we go. So the heading must be medals, and then the medal image must be there. So here we don't need to put the text box. It's only the medals heading, and then we put the image also next to each of them. So here the image was not on the header, but the image must be next to each of them. Now, There's a criteria here. Not all of them are having that. Because if we do the calculation, let's see. How do we do the calculation? Is the sum, the total amount equals to that. That means they added all of them. Now, we are going to have calculation below, which should be in the report footer. Good. So we must put a calculation here, whereby we pick a text box and then we draw it. Then you right click and then we choose build event expression builder. Now, which should be the sum of because it's the total amount. So the sum of all the membership fees, and then you close it. Like I said yesterday, you select and you copy. You come and put it here. You put equal sign and then you paste, Control V. Then the text box should be total amount. You can stretch it and then you type total amount. Now let's see the total amount, which is for all of them is here, and it's 7,000. 7,000. So meaning it shouldn't be for all of them. It should only be for those specific ones that are there. Those that are shown here, that is Brandon, Abigail, and we can see that it's only platinum and silver. Only platinum and silver. But do we have other silvers there? And we have so many platinum. We like to see the criteria that they use. 200,000. And then also membership fee of 900. Then if you look at the date also, 2019 and then 2020. But let's check here. We have only 2019 and 2020. So meaning we don't need 2022. So we need only 2019 and 2020. So meaning they pick the date of birth, which is 2019 and 2020. These questions are higher order questions. That is why it's 10 marks. So we must check the criteria they use. They use, this is 2019, 2022. So we can say it's only from 2019 up until 2022. From this date of birth should be only from 2019 up until 2022. So we don't need other dates that are above that. So we have to also extract them, or maybe we filter the rest from it. Now, in order for you to do that, even if you pick the sorting and then maybe the filter, when you sort and it picks only that one, it's going to pick the rest from it. And then if you also filter them, it's going to also generate others. And then the format also here does not give access to that. It doesn't give access to that. And then there's no running sum also for that. So here you cannot also create a query in order for you to achieve that aspect. So that is a very high order question. So let's see what they did over there, whether they filtered or they apply some sort of sorting, because there was no grouping. Even if I add a group here with a date of birth, and then when you go to more, where it says with A on top, because this is date of birth, it doesn't have with A on top, then by the entire value, here you can customize it by, because it's a text here. So you cannot put 2019 or that, it won't work. And then also the sorting, if you sort also according to that, it does not give you those options. So basically, there are some properties that they use, which is basically maybe filter. So let's look at that. I'm going to also make it available. Let's check what was given there. That is the last question, with the question 5. The first mark is the creation, the field, columnar, like correct, the sum, currency. Yeah, we forgot the currency. Report group according to membership status. So meaning there was no sorting. That is the screenshot that you see there. It could have been the screenshot is just different. They wanted to do it as you see. So basically everything there, we did it. The logo was there. Report group according to membership status. So the group according to membership status. Let's see the screenshot there once again, because I still membership status. If it's group, that's platinum. Okay, yeah. So platinum before silver. That means it's for all of them. This is just a portion of the screenshot. It is just a portion of the screenshot. So that one cannot be. So the grouping is only done on membership status. So let's take a look at that. But it still gives us the gold and others, platinum. So maybe they took some portion of it, the screenshot. And then if it is done like that, then with A on top or whatever that they did there, if it's platinum, P on top. Now it's also going to show silver first. So basically, the rubric does not what the question wanted here. We did the totals, we did the sum. The currency, that's the one that we did not do. To change this total to currency, this one here, you go to data, and then the format, you change it to currency. All right. So basically, this is what it's supposed to do. This is just a portion of it. It is just a portion of it. It's not the whole thing that you see on the screen. Right. Any other question? Okay, somebody said, why didn't I sort it in anything for sorting, like you left them in ascending order? Yeah, so the grouping, like I said here, the grouping, to group them, if you don't find group here, you can also search for it from here and say group. So it's going to give you sorting and grouping. Or it's a group and sort. And then you can now add group. Then you choose which field that you are grouping according to. Like this question, they says membership status. And then you run it to see. Right. So that's how this question was supposed to be treated. Right. Now let's move straight to the next province, which we are going to use Gauteng province. then followed by Mpumalanga province. So I'm going straight to question number 5. Five Olympics. Now, the first question, open the table 5_1 venues table. Choose the color of your choice and apply it to alternate rows so the table will be easier to read. So this is the 5 tables. Now, the alternate rows so that it will be easier to read. Like I said earlier, to pick alternate, you can just say format cells or cells. You can just say cell, and it's going to give you format cells. Like we saw yesterday, whereby they asked question under the column header. Here they are asking for alternate background colors. Now they say any color of our choice, so you can choose any color. Now this is the alternate one. Then the next question, align the capacity field to look like all other fields. So let's check is the alignment. This is the capacity field. Now you can see it has been aligned to the right. All of them are on the left. If you select venue name, you can see the alignment is on the left, location on the left, event name on the left. Now, only capacity should also be left, not right. So you must choose left. Now, switch to design view, set the most appropriate field to the primary key.